Welcome to the SoCal Real Estate Development and Syndication Podcast, from blueprints to skylines, where we interview the go-getters in the industry. I am your host, Peter Barakoff. Today's guest is Ben Gaines, investor and broker in North Carolina. Thanks for coming on, Ben. How are you?
Absolutely, Peter. I'm honored to do so. It's good to see you on this podcast. I'm looking forward to seeing all your guests in the future.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you let everybody know something about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, I am in Greensboro, North Carolina. Um, I own a full service residential and commercial real estate firm, but I am primarily a residential investor. I also am working on some commercial deals as well, and I help my clients. I heavily deal in land, and I help my clients acquire land to do development projects.
Okay. Do you do any flipping, any house flipping like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the residential investing, um, we are we are purchasing a lot of homes. Our uh, Right now I'm working on eight or nine, I believe is the number. So we generally purchase those homes, renovate, and then put back on the market using our real estate firm. So that's a process that we have been doing since the very beginning, and that's kind of how things got started.
What is your buy box for a piece of property that you're gonna flip?
Yeah, in my area, it's interesting. So it's a lot different than where you are in California. Our median home price it's around 300,000, or maybe a little bit less. So I typically keep the homes that I buy, all in renovation included, under $350,000. I've got a couple $500,000 houses right now. One's under contract and one's on the market, and they turned out beautiful and they're a lot of fun. But a $500,000 house in my area is a very expensive house, and so we try to we try to cater a little bit to the first time home buyer as far as the flips that we do, and we try to stay around that median home price criteria for our flips.
Okay. How do you manage your renovations? How do you
Yeah, so that's become interesting. We we talk about who not how. And you're one of Greg's students as well. So we try to delegate as much as possible, and we try to do the tasks that make us money. And obviously the renovations, they're big for me, and they do make me money, but there are people out there who are a lot better at it than I am. I have a partner, my broker in charge, who works for me, Tiffany, who manages all our projects, and she works with our contractors to determine what needs to be done to the homes, and arrange those renovations. Um, I'm shooting for a little something different this year. The last several homes I bought, I've completely depended on my team, which is made up of Tiffany, and then my administrative assistant slash lead manager, Danielle, a few VAs, and then my 17-year-old son. He turns 17 tomorrow. So my team's very small, but I rely on my team to determine, to go out, visit the property, determine what needs to be done to the property, and then arrange to get that done. And so I am doing my absolute best to not get in the middle of that, as to let people do their jobs.
how did you find your partner and like that's a very kind of sketchy subject sometimes. Do you have any horror
Yeah.
stories from prior ones or how's it
Yeah,
all?
I mean, so Tiffany, she works for me. I call her my partner. Um she literally does has complete access to my business. However, she does not own part of the company. Um she she's she's incredible though. She from the renovations to the acquisitions to the hiring process with the folks that we hire, to keeping the VAs in line, to um you know I sat with a planning board last night, and handed me a stack of papers that essentially told me exactly what I needed to know to go into that meeting. So her tasks are wide, and I trust her. She, I, I feel like a puppet sometimes. I'm called to be so many places, and I rely on the people around me, and I have great people, and I rely on the people around me and my coaches and my contacts and other investors in my network to advise me on the things that I either don't understand or I'm too overwhelmed to understand or whatever that looks like. And I've been really, really fortunate to have great coaching to teach me that to let these people do their jobs and to listen to folks who are doing these things every day and who may have a better outlook on it than I might have. So that's just something for new investors. Just delegate, delegate, delegate. I mean, the most impactful day of my life, I love to mow my yard. I love it. I love sitting on the riding mower. Um, I listen to inspirational stuff. I read, I listen to real estate books. I listen to podcasts. I love it. So I love to get on my fancy tractor lawnmower and on my 2 acres out in the middle of the country, and I love to mow. But a little over 2 years ago, our coach Greg Dickerson said, "There's no reason that you should be mowing your own yard," and I said, "Well, I enjoy it." And he said, "Well, okay, well, if you enjoy it, then it's something you probably could do. But do you enjoy it more than some other things?" And so I had to weigh it out. And would I rather be fishing than mowing my yard? Well, absolutely, I would. So I delegated the yard mowing process, which freed up my time. And it flipped something in my brain. I started measuring things. I started looking at things in that new light, that perspective of, is this a task that I'm best suited to do? In other words, am I best at this task of the people that I have at my disposal? And um and also is it a task that a high value task? So I don't know what my hourly rate is. I don't even want to assume or make something up, but let's say my hourly rate's $250. Let's just throw a number out there. And can I get my yard mowed for less than $250? And I can. So maybe that means that I ought to hire somebody. If it meets all those criteria, maybe it means that I ought to hire somebody to do it. And what that does is it frees up my time to be able to do those, as I mentioned, higher value tasks, which allows me to grow and scale.
That's like what's important with a coach. They kind of look at you in a different way. You don't see yourself. You
Mhm.
thought mowing the lawn was very
That's
productive,
right.
but it turns out maybe not so much. To kind of someone outside to look in, hey, maybe I can do something better with your time. Um,
Yep.
yeah. So you're a podcast host. Flip Talk. How did that come to fruition?
Yeah. Once again, I hate to throw Greg Dickerson out there again, but Greg connected me with a gentleman, Don Costa. Don is based out of Fresno, California, and Don has been in the flipping business for many, many years. Don runs a mastermind and a coaching program, and has tons of affiliates. He started this podcast that happens to have over 2 million downloads or listens in podcast speak to 2 million downloads over the last 7 or 8 years. He started that podcast and he grew it grew very quickly. Don has expanded the podcast to 3 days a week, and I am fortunate enough to have been named as one of the hosts. So it was one of these things that was a dream for me. So many people have helped me along my journey, and the ability to give back and maybe a little bit of ego, just to be real,
Yeah.
but the ability to give back is amazing. And through my coaches and I have acquired contact after contact, and so I have so much to share, or I have contacts who have so much to share with the real estate world and folks that are just getting started in this business. And I just felt like it was golly, like it was my job maybe at least aid in empowering new people to understand that there is an opportunity here, whether it be real estate or starting another business of any sort, that it can be done from the ground up. It can be done with not a lot of money. It can be done with absolutely zero experience, just like I started my business.
Yeah, the 2 million followers. Like, how did that happen? I mean, clearly not overnight. What does he do different? What's he talking about? What kind of what's his strategy? How is
Yeah, I mean, and it's just to be just to correct that, it's 2 million downloads or listens. So
yeah,
typically in with podcasts, they talk about, they call a listen a download. So when someone listens to an episode, that they talk about that as a download. I'm new at this, so I'm
yeah,
learning as well.
that's still a lot. I don't care if
But
it's
yeah, oh, it's a ton, and I think what Peter, and something that you're already doing right is consistency, right? It's bringing on high value people, and it's looking at things from the lens of what can I do for somebody else and not what can I do for myself. So you're doing this podcast, you're obviously doing it to grow and to learn and all these things, and that's how it benefits you. But really what you're doing is you're giving a forum for other investors to get out there and to be heard. And so I think that's what Don did correctly. I think that he got out there, and I think that he just gave a forum for other investors to be heard. One of the biggest things that he did though is he did a thing called Rookie Podcast, or Rookie Playbook, I'm sorry. And what Rookie Playbook was it was a 56 episode dialogue of every single aspect of flipping a home. So from acquisitions to the closing process, to acquiring capital to close the deal, to managing renovations, to disposition, the whole entire process. And I think it was 56 episodes. I may be misspeaking, but I believe it was 56 episodes that he covered, that where he covered the entire process. And I mean, he complete, I hate to use this term, but he completely dumbed it down for someone that had never done a deal. Ironically, that was the first podcast, real estate podcast, that I ever listened to.
uh,
It was the very first one because it was advertised and it was put out there for beginners, and that's what I was looking for. And I don't know what I Googled to find it, but that was the very first thing that I listened to, and it broke down the entire process with different marketing channels, how to hire a contractor, how to pay a contractor, how to manage a contractor, how to hire an agent to sell your process. I mean, your property after it was finished, how to, from the acquisition side, how to analyze a deal, how to comp a deal, all those things. So he put value out there, and then that for other people, he provided, he 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 from an angle of service, he put value out there, and he served people with that very very informative rookie playbook, and by that he was able to acquire a lot of listeners.
well, let's dive into your marketing. Uh, uh, Clearly, you have to do some sort of marketing. You own
Sure.
United Properties. How do you market yourself and get out there?
Yeah. So very early in the process, I was approached by a television sales rep. And man, we all think TV is so expensive, and it is, and it depends on your market.
Yeah.
But fortunately, with Greg's help, I was able to negotiate some rates and determine what shows were best for me. I didn't need to be in the middle of a prime time show for what I'm trying to do to buy houses. And where I needed to be was, and what works best for me is daytime television, late night television, um, and some of those morning shows. And so I was able to get some bargains on some of those stations. um, uh, just to be clear, I'm on broadcast television, ABC, NBC, and CBS in my local market only. Um, but what television has done for me is it lends credibility, right? So people see you on television, and they initially assume that you're the expert because they see you every day in and out. And so it's given me that opportunity, but it's also given me the opportunity to grow my other pursuits. for the same reason. It provides credibility, and people want to listen to what I have to say. I guess because I'm out there every day and I'm doing the thing. And so with TV, just to be clear, I mean, for those investors out there that are considering television, and I know you're primarily commercial, and that's not the avenue that I approach to advertise to land and commercial. Although I think it does lend credibility, which helps me close those deals. But just to be clear, TV has for me, in my experience, has a very low volume of leads, but a very high conversion rate. And so that's allowed me to have a smaller team, um, because we're not getting 200 calls in a day, from texting or whatever that may be. Now,
Did who told
go ahead.
you like how off, like is there a frequency that you're on? Like how does that all work? Like you like did you find a sweet spot with frequency on, or like with these time
Yeah.
zone? Like did you get to play with the times they show you? Did you get to see all like the statistics and everything? That
Well,
analyses?
that came from coaching, and that came from coaching who, I got in with some folks who were also doing television, who provided me with some of their KPIs, and I'm a big KPI guy. I track the success of my marketing and many, many other things very closely, or as closely as possible, without giving myself a headache. But these folks, they kept these KPIs, and through talking to them and through looking at data that they sent me. And now the TV sales reps, they want to sell you the most expensive product, but once you become a consistent customer client of theirs, and they really have to understand your business from day one. These guys, my business is, I don't think it's complicated, but it's different. And so for them to understand that I am a real estate firm, but I'm not advertising on television so that, John and Betty can list their home with me. I mean, although we get some of that and that's great, but what I'm really advertising is to distressed homeowners who need a service, and that service is what I provide. And we stress on those TV commercials that we provide options. So I go out and I give folks those options. I can list your home for retail. I'll tell you what you need to do to get it ready to go on the market. I will help you. I will recommend a painter for you. I will do all sorts of things. I have great cleaning people. I pass those off to my clients all the time. Um, but really, what we do, the highest level of services that we offer is the cash offer, where we will literally, I tell folks to take what you want, leave what you don't. Please empty your refrigerator. Outside of that, I don't care. I will take care of it. Um,
Leave a
and
sandwich.
yeah, just just don't leave me any food in there. But take what you don't want, or take what you want and leave what you don't want.
Yeah.
And then we even arrange for mobile notaries to go out and get contracts signed. My team is in communication with these clients every day. We answer all the questions that they might have and guide them through the process. And we can even help folks find a new place to live if that's needed. But we provide that service with any product that we offer. I mean, even when we list a home, I mean, we go in and we have a perspective of someone who lists a lot of our own homes. And so we know what it takes to get the most bang for your buck. So with our regular retail clients, as I call them, we'll also provide them with the same service. We're not holding any of that back. We offer that full. I call us a full service real estate firm, and that's exactly what we are.
You spoke about land development earlier. Are you doing any development yourself? Can you dive into that a little?
No, I haven't done any land development projects myself. However, I am highly involved with some developers, and we're currently working a couple of deals with those guys. We've made some offers. We've certainly we're certainly moving in that direction. And I started this land buying business a few months back, and that's really starting to catch on. So we really starting to have some opportunities in house, and once we control that land, that gives us an opportunity to really to really, see what the highest and best use for that land is and pursue that. I'm fortunate to have relationships with the economic development presidents of several surrounding counties. I'm on a land use planning committee here for my county or my local town. I go to planning and development meetings. I had a meeting today where a big developer that is out of state, out of Texas, is going to use me as their boots on the ground here. And obviously, I will hope to have some ownership in some of those pursuits. But yeah, so that's something that's new to me, that because of, again, coaching, it's like I echo this thing, but again, coaching and relationships, I'm confident that I can do any of that stuff. In fact, my day today was made up of the last 24 hours for me has been made up of development meetings. I met with a multifamily developer. Um, I met with an industrial developer. I went to a land use planning um, land use planning, or I'm sorry, a planning board meeting last night in one of the surrounding counties. Today I had two meetings. One was with another multifamily developer, and one was with a large land developer from out of state. So I'm right in the middle of it. It's just as far as myself, being part of one of those deals outside of representing a client, I have not.
Yeah. So can you share a win, a success story that like, you're proud of, you did something either in real estate or in or out of real estate?
Yeah, I mean, I was talking with a friend today, and these opportunities that we're afforded because of hard work and because of the people that we help, and that's what I try to do. I try to be of service, but these opportunities that we're afforded um are amazing. I mean, right now we're in the middle of talks for buying a service oriented company that helps us vertically integrate. We're looking at some real true lending opportunities to be able to lend to other investors. I'm in hopes that I'm becoming part of a software company, a real estate software company that looks like that's on the horizon for us. Um, you know, and then we've got these development opportunities, the land buying business, the home buying business, and the real estate firm. And the real estate firm is moving. Sometimes God has a plan for us. I think originally I wanted 200 agents, and I wanted 200 agents doing a bunch
Wow.
of residential retail deals, and that focus has changed. We have reoriented. Now I'll still list all my own residential listings, and we're still helping clients, but my real focus is helping commercial buyers, and helping us acquire um commercial properties as well. So it's just, you just have to, God knows what's best, and you just have to follow that path that's put in front of you.
You
And so
definitely
I
have to
have a lot of
trust it.
wins lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I have a lot of wins lately. Another win, just a really big win. My son turns 17 tomorrow, and he is so interested in this business. He does my pre-purchase walkthroughs on all my properties. He does my post renovation walkthroughs on all my properties. He's having discussions with contractors and subs and my people here in the office, and he's really passionate about the construction side of the business, not so much the side of the business that I'm good at, the marketing. He could care less, but in fact, it kind of annoys him. But the construction side of the business, he's very, very passionate about. And so, in fact, just now before our interview, um, I got off the phone with one of my most trusted contractors, and I told him, I said, my son's available for you the whole summer. I said, I pay him already. You don't have to pay him. I said, he's yours. And so I know that my son is going to be directly involved with my flips alongside this contractor. And so that's a really big win for me. And I'm so honored that he's involved in that. Man, he know he came in and he talked about a grout pattern the other day on some tile or something. I didn't even know what he was talking about. Like, you know, he knows better than I do. Like, and it's amazing to watch him blossom, and these people are willing to teach him because he listens, And so I'm interested to see where that all goes in the future.
Hey, that's great. That's chip
Yeah.
off the block there.
Yeah.
Um, but if you had to start all over in life and we're given $100,000, how would you put that money to work? How would you put that money to work?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I think what I'd like to do with the 100,000 is I'd like to invest it in a growth stock mutual fund and just let it sit there. And then I'd like to pursue another business with no money, with what I know now. I am so
Oh,
confident that if I had the opportunity to do things again, I could do it more efficiently. I could do it better. I could put my ego out of the way and listen to the people who gave me the advice early on. Every single thing I've done in my career I have initially gone against what was told me by the experts, and I have done everything the hard way. Now I think I've grown from that, but I think there are much more efficient ways to do things. And if I had to do it all over again, I know that I don't need any money to start a business. I don't need any, none, zero. Right. What I need is hard work, initiative, and knowledge, and surround myself by the right people. And so I feel like that obviously they say diversify our capital. So I would stick that money over there somewhere, reasonably safe, and watch the compound interest grow it. And then I would pursue the real estate of business with a different vigor and a different respect. Um, and I would really listen to the people who have advised me over the last several years.
thank you, Ben. How can listeners get a hold of you for any questions or investment opportunities or questions within the North Carolina market?
Yeah, I would love for developers to reach out to me. I feel like that we have a lot to offer. We work very hard as boots on the ground, and so they can catch me at I'll give my direct number 336-645-5058, or my email is Ben at United Properties NC, as in North Carolina.com. I also have LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and can be reached those ways as well.
Thank you, Ben, for coming on. And thank you all for listening. Please stay in tune for next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.